Hey guys, project-zodiac here. I'm back with another video, and this, I know I say this a lot, but this is a very special unboxing for me because this is an unboxing video for a album from a band that I love, and it's their first album in 7 years. Okay, kind of. I'll get to that a little bit later. I have a lot to say, and I'm also going to try to give a mini review of this album at the end of it, kind of like what I did for the Gorillaz album, because this has been out digitally for about almost a week now. I would say maybe 6 days, 5, 6 days, something like that. So, yeah, with all that said, let's just get into this. First of all, I love this particular uh, wrapping, I suppose you can call it, that it came in. It kind of makes me think of like something from the Middle East, and it also makes me think something kind of like also beach vibe as well, which I love. I do think that it is done like this to be more eco-friendly, which is actually important to this. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I just really love this. I just love this texture, this design, this feel, the art style for it. It's just so cool. Very earthy, I suppose you could say, and very beach vibes as well, and also a little bit deserty vibes. It kind of looks like a cloud over there too. I'm pretty sure that it's not supposed to be a cloud or designs, but still. So, what's also really cool here, it also kind of looks like scales in a way, as you can see, like it kind of opens up. So this is, I'm sorry, I just really love this wrapping. Like, it's so detailed, but it's not even trying to be. So it's just so cool. But let's just open this up. And then over here, we have the newest album from Daughter. For those of you that don't know, Daughter is a band from the UK. It's a trio, and they kind of make experimental folk music. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that right now. I'm going to get back to that, but this is very, very special for me, not just because it's their first album in 7 years ish, we'll get to that, but because this is a signed copy of this album, or sorry, a signed bundle. And there's a story behind that, because I honestly thank God, because it was a miracle that I was actually able to get this. So I'll explain that story in the end. But the bundle does come with the album on cassette. And I do have a few cassettes here and there. Usually whenever I buy bundles, they come with cassettes. So I have some of them, or usually a CD as well. I don't think this one came with a CD. I'll have to double check. But anyway, with all that said, it comes with a signed art print. So here we have Elena, the singer, and then Remy and Igor, I believe is his name. So this is the trio. Elena is the singer, and then the other guys, they don't really know what they do. Obviously the instrumentations, but they don't sing. And I think Elena plays some of the instruments as well. Not too sure, but she's the singer, and the other two are the instrumentationists. And then there's kind of like a off-white vanilla kind of color. It's definitely picking up a lot clearer on my phone than I thought it would be. Like, because in real life, this is like, I mean, you can see it, but it's not so like clear. You really, like, for example, if I go like this, you guys can still see it for the most part. But for me, this is all just like white, like in general. Like you like looking at the camera, you can still see the details here, 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 but looking at it in person in this lighting, I can only start making out details here and then down here. So it's very interesting, this stock that they went with. So that's pretty cool. We'll get to that a little bit soon. And then we have the album itself. Okay, so like I said, Daughter is a folk band or experimental folk band. And when I say that this is their first album in 7 years, it's kind of true, but it's kind of not. And the reason why I say it like that is because their last album um, is one of my all time favorite albums. In fact, I actually do have it right here because my record player is right next to me. This album, it is called Not to Disappear, and it is literally one of my all time favorite albums. And yes, the tones that you're seeing here with this artwork is kind of the tones of this music, the music in this particular album. I'll put this away later. I do have all of their albums on vinyl. This is technically their third studio album. So, again, what I was trying to say, Not to Disappear, their last album, came out in 2016, I believe. So, yeah, it's been about 7 years. Um, but yeah, so the first album, sorry, 2016, 2015, not sure. I'm not going to try to do math, it's almost midnight. It's just their first album in 7 years, 6 to 7 years. So their music is very emotional, it's somber, it's very thoughtful. I love their music a lot. For me, Daughter, the band, is basically, even though there's two guys in the band, I'm just because of the singer, I'm gonna say it like this. I'm not trying to sexualize it or anything like that. But the band Daughter is basically the female version of Ben Howard, which is one of my all-time favorite musicians as well, and bands as well, because Ben Howard is the main singer, but then there's the whole band, and he has the band as a whole has different formations, which they go with different band names when they're in the different formations. Um, but yeah, so for me, the band Daughter is like the female version of Ben Howard. But again, I'm not trying to sexualize and say it's, that Daughter is just a female group, because again, there is two guys there. It's just that the lead singer is a girl. So yeah, so as much as I love Daughter, though, I still do prefer Ben Howard so much more. But still, the atmosphere of Daughter is a amazing atmosphere, and it's very thought provoking as well. Really, 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 really well done in terms of how they present their music, and their lyrics are also super poetic, and the vocals are amazing. Honestly, we need a Daughter collaboration with Ben Howard, and we have like I think 3 or 4 songs that the Daughter is featured in on Ben Howard's music, except that those are just live versions of songs that are recorded. So in other words, the collaboration between Daughter and Ben Howard has happened, where Daughter is featured in a few of Ben's songs, except that it was only as a guest appearance when he was playing it in a concert. And there are recordings for that. And they match up perfectly. So I just wish that, and those weren't like original songs or new songs, it was just her being featured in a song that we already had from Ben's like studio albums. I just wish that we will get a Ben Howard and Daughter collaboration on an actual album. So yes, so we somewhat have that collaboration, but I still want an actual one with a song that is made specifically with Daughter included in it. But yes, sorry for the ramble. So this is the first album in 7 years, and I say, as I was saying earlier, kind of only because in that time frame they released, well, they made a whole album, like the entire soundtrack, along with some vocal songs as well, not just instrumentations, for the video game Life is Strange Before the Storm. So Life is Strange, and then the subtitle is Before the Storm. And the Life is Strange games is some of my all-time favorite video games. So the fact that they got hired to make the music for one of those games was amazing, and I do own that on vinyl as well. So that was released about a year and a half after Not to Disappear. So it's still an album, but they don't consider it like an album. Um, and then even though it's part of their discography, it's still just like, like it was made for a game rather than it was made for them to release something, if that makes any sense. And the other reason why I say kind of, it's also because Elena, the main singer, after Life is Strange, Before the Storm, I believe around 2018, 2019, she had made and released a solo album because it details a lot about a relationship that she was in, and that it was a little bit too, she felt it was a little bit too personal, especially because she actually did used to date one of these guys. I think she used to date Igor. I don't even know. She used to date one of them. Um, at least they were mature and they stayed friends and continued in the band. They were dating at when they were in the band originally, but so she basically felt it was a little bit too personal because of that, and also just because just in general, and she wanted to have full control over this work. The guy that album like that relationship is about is not one of these two. It's related to somebody else completely. So she released that under the title X Re. And then I also do have that on vinyl. So yeah, with all that said, so it hasn't fully been 7 years since we've heard something from Elena or from the band as a whole, but they're marketing it as it is. So, marketing is going to be marketing things. So right before we get to this, I do just want to, show this off one more time. I'm so glad that I was able to get this signed by them. I'm not sure why they didn't sign the album itself, but I'm not complaining. This fits in here, so I'm just going to be leaving it inside of the album sleeve itself. But before we get into the album, let's get into into the cassette. Okay, so this album is something that I was really looking forward to. And Elena had said many times that, sorry, this is going to be a little loud. Okay. So here we have that, I believe that this is a dandelion, right? Yes, it is. I think it is. I'm assuming it is because there's a song called Dandelion. I don't know too much about flowers, so. And then, as you can see over here, so it's the same kind of thing in the back of the picture of the print with their signature. There's a cool little design over here, and then some over there as well on the bottom. And yeah, it is actually present. Well, the bottom parts is present on the print, but this top trickly part is not. But now that I'm thinking about it, it looks like it was just cut off over here. So, because there's a little indent right over here. So yeah, it's just zoomed in, I guess. But yeah, it's kind of just an off-white kind of thing, so it's not bad. And the name of the album is Stereo Mind Game. There is no song called that, except that there's a line in one of these songs that does say that. So yeah, just a cassette. And then here we go, just some of the credits. There you go. Okay, so it's just a traditional black cassette. Honestly, it kind of matches the aesthetic of this, not gonna lie. Like just the color itself. I was kind of hoping it would be a different color, but I don't know. I kind of do like this. Again, I don't really collect cassettes. I only get them when it's with a bundle. But all right, let's get into here. This daughter name over here is just a sticker on the shrink wrap. Stereo Mind Game is part of the album cover itself. Limited edition colored eco vinyl. So this is what I meant about the eco-friendly packaging. That's because this vinyl is also recycled vinyl, and it's a different color. So I was really excited for that as well. So let me just start removing this. And before I start showing the song names, even though you guys have already seen that. But yeah, so this is something I was really looking forward to. And Elena had said many times that this album, because all of Daughter's songs are, and in terms of like atmosphere and lyrics and stuff like that, is kind of a little bit sad, and very thoughtful. She said that this album isn't going to be as sad as the previous ones. So I was kind of like, a Daughter album that's not super sad, that's going to be interesting. I'm happy for her because it definitely seems like her and the band are in a much better place, and that's great. I'm very, very happy for them because she has suffered a lot of things from what I read. But I was just kind of curious on how that would sound because she did say it's a lot lighter, but it's still going to have the Daughter vibe to it. So yeah, so we'll get to that in my review because that is actually true. The description of the album is pretty true. So we've got Daughter over here, and then we've got the album name right down there, Stereo Mind Game. Okay, so again, we got that same background as the art print, except you can see a little bit more of things over here. Okay, got the credits, Stereo Mind Game. So we got these 12 songs, and you guys can pause them and read them. And then let's take a look over here. Okay, there's nothing else inside. In terms of the album cover itself, I like it. It's very similar to their first album. Honestly, it's kind of a mixture of all of their albums, with the exception of X-Ray. So it's very similar to their first album, and then the second album, which I showed, and it's very similar, especially in color, to the Life is Strange Before the Storm soundtrack as well. I could get them all out to show you guys, but because it's literally right next to me, but I'm not going to right now. So here we've got lyrics, which is always nice. I love it when we have official lyrics because a lot of bands don't, so put those, so we have to interpret it, especially when it's hard to hear them sometimes. This song, Be On Your Way, is one of the band's best songs in general, and I think it's probably one of the best songs on the album as well. And then this is kind of why I wanted to get this particular vinyl. On the stock photo, it was really dark. So yeah, I'm actually surprised by how much more red and brown it is because it looked more like translucent purple with hints of red and brown. And there's definitely purple here. It's just definitely more red and brown. It's kind of more of like a wine-ish color, like a little bit of a diluted wine color. And it's pretty cool. I like all the colors here. See, if you guys saw my Coldplay unboxing video for their newest album, Music of the Spheres Volume 1, I got a like a wood brown kind of color with like these same kind of recycled vinyl splotches on it. Didn't fit the tone of the album at all because again, it's supposed to be space oriented. I complained about that to a lot of my friends. They said no, for them they think it does fit it. I'm just really picky, but and I can see what they mean, and they are right, you know. So I am just being overcritical with that particular vinyl color, but in terms of this one, I think it matches the aesthetic of it perfectly, especially since there are these like specific kind of color palettes throughout all of it. So I really do like this color a lot for this album. And yeah, so here we've got side A and then side B. So yeah, I'm just really excited about this. I'm gonna be playing this tomorrow, but I quickly wanted to share two things. first, as I said, I wanted to share my story about getting this particular bundle. And then two, I wanted to give a very quick review on the album. So this was up on her record label's store for pre-order, this bundle. And I was working, and I was able to go in if I wanted to, but I just said like, I'm just gonna worry about that later. Um, I'll just get it like later tonight or tomorrow or something. But hold on 1 second, I just realized something. Huh. This is a darker color than this. That's interesting. Sorry about that. So yeah, I just kind of thought, like I'll just worry about it later. I'm sure there's still gonna be stock available for it. But when I went to go get it, it was sold out. And like, here's the weird thing, because I was able to add it to my cart, but then when I would check out, it wouldn't let me, and then it would just be gone. So I was really disappointed, and I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll just get the regular black vinyl because there is a black vinyl version of this, even though I really wanted the recycled vinyl colored one. And then like I said, I'll do that later, and I was really really upset because I really wanted the signatures as well. And what ended up happening is when I went to go back, I think a day later, um, I entered the record label site for whatever reason instead of ordering it from the daughter band website. Um, and I see that there's something on my cart, and I'm like, okay, I thought I removed everything from my cart. And then I see that this bundle was there, and I'm like, how is this here? This was removed and it was sold out, like everywhere. It even still says like it was sold out. So I'm like, I'm not gonna question it. I'm just gonna go click submit, make the purchase, and we'll see how it goes. Because again, like somehow it ended up in my cart even though it was removed, and somehow, even though it was apparently sold out, I was able to make the purchase. And then I was a little bit doubtful, but I'm like, no, I'm just gonna have hope, it seems like the receipt says it as well, so like, uh, you know we'll see. I'll have hope, and if it doesn't come like that, I'm not really gonna be so disappointed, but I'm gonna have hope. And then when it came and I saw it and it's sealed and it was with the actual bundle, I was so happy. This came yesterday, I just didn't have time to open it. um so yeah, I'm just very very grateful, and I thank God a lot because I really, got lucky with this. Somehow I was able to get the signed bundle, and I'm just really grateful for that. So again, I thank God a lot for giving me this, because again, it was sold out, but I was able to get it. So I'm just really, really grateful. So yeah, I just wanted to share that because I thought that was a cool story as well to share, and just because I'm so excited I was able to get this. Um, but yeah, so that's that little story. Now I just want to give a quick review about this album. I kind of feel like this is a like it's a it's an okay album. I like it. It's not. I'm not gonna try to say like, oh yeah, because I've been waiting so long, it's their best. No, that's not the thing. I don't hate it. It's just I how can I say this? I don't think it's as good as it could have been, and I definitely think that their previous two albums is still a lot better, especially Not to Disappear. Again, the tones that Elena said that this album was gonna have is true. It's definitely a lot lighter. It's not as somber. You can hear her like laughing or not laughing. I'm so sorry. You can kind of hear her having a little bit more of like a happier tone, a more melancholy tone, but more on the happier side. Um, and you can see that in the music videos as well. So but the instrumentation is still the same, but it's a little bit lighter as well. But it's still dark and melancholy and somber, just like all of the band's other works. So it does have that essence. Elena did describe it accurately. It's just my complaint isn't even that. It's more when it comes towards the a couple of the lyrics and a couple of the way that some of the songs work. Um, I'm trying to remember because I haven't heard the album in a few days, but when it's a big band that I really like and they release a new album, I do write written reviews and then like I review each song individually. So I do go in a lot more detail into what my actual issues with the songs are in that one, in my written review. If anyone ever does want to see that, please let me know in the description. Sorry, in the comments, and I'll share it online. Um, but yeah, it's just basically that. I kind of just feel like this album. I think that it was more towards how some of the vocals are and how some of the lyrics are, because the instrumentation is fantastic and a lot of the delivery with how everything was presented was really good. It's just there's something missing, and it kind of feels a little bit, honestly, as I'm gonna be honest, as depressing as this album is, it feels like I think there's like a lot more emotion on it on the previous albums, and a lot more creativity, and a lot more like I don't want to say honesty, but just a little bit more passion or heart. I think that's not saying that there isn't on this particular album. There definitely is, especially because a lot of these songs are very very personal to Elena. Based off of interviews she's talked about and information about some of these songs, you can tell that a lot of these songs are very emotional to her as well. It's a very personal album, such as is all of the rest of the albums. But really, I think only like three or four songs out of the 12, I believe. Yeah, I think, yeah, okay. I can tell you this right now. Be on Your Way, Party, Swim Back, are probably the best ones, and those were the singles. Neptune is okay, but it's only towards the end. Dandelion is more similar to Neptune, but all of it. And then Miss Calls is experimental, but it's kind of them having fun, basically. Um, and yeah, and I was really excited looking for these, especially because I love water. So there's a lot of water references in here, like Neptune and Swimming Back, A Wish Could Cross the Sea. Um, so, but those songs were kind of just okay. Again, it's not a terrible album. It's just an okay album. It's a decent album. It's a good album in general, but it's not a great album. Like, it doesn't fully express how good Daughter can be, in my opinion. Um, and honestly, I just feel like, again, even though I know there's a lot of heart here, I just feel like something is missing, and I think it's the heart as well. But again, that's not saying that there isn't heart. There is a lot, like a lot. Also, I just kind of realized Daughter is here, but for the actual album cover itself, it was only on the shrink wrap. Don't know why they didn't put it here. Hmm. But yeah, so I just think it could have been better. I honestly, maybe that's just me thinking about this because I only really heard it like three times, and usually that is enough for me to like gauge the album itself. But as I kind of learned with M83's newest album, Fantasy, I had to hear it a couple more times to really like it. Um, and so much so that I'm now thinking about actually buying that album on vinyl. But yeah, this one in particular, though, I kind of had to I was hearing it as I was writing my review for it. And then I had to hear it again as I was doing lawn work with my family. So my mind was all over the place. I was moving around a lot. I couldn't really concentrate so much on the music itself. But again, I was just kind of like, it's okay. It's not exactly how I wanted it to be, but it is kind of how I expected it to be based off of her description of it. So I guess you could say it's kind of disappointing, but it's also kind of not because it's still really, really good. It's just, again, there's just something that's kind of missing. So, yeah, I guess just because I was really busy when I was hearing the album all like 3 4 times, I couldn't really take it in that much. So I'm gonna have to hear it a few more times, a lot calmer. So hopefully tomorrow when I play it on vinyl, I'll be able to do that. um, but yeah, even I think even once I do understand more the direction they went with, and like it a lot more, because it is pretty possible that like, now that I understand the direction they went in and I'm hearing it a lot calmer, I'll definitely um, give it more appreciation. Um, I don't think I still won't think that it's as good as the other two albums or just the other four albums in total. So I do definitely think it's not the best in general, but there is some good things here for sure. But yeah, that's basically kind of what I wanted to share in terms of my review about Daughter's Stereo Mind game. Um, Again, a little disappointing, but really, unique and really well done. Again, there is care here. It just could have been, I guess, in a slightly different method, I think is the best way to explain that. But yeah, guys, that is it for this video. It's a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I was hoping to have it in literally half the time. I was trying to make it into 12 minutes. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night.